Welcome to the Geeky Girls Knit Podcast. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl.
I'm Damaris, also known as Damaris-Fit-Weird.
And we're glad to have you today. Today is Wednesday, January the 15th, 2014. And this is episode... Crap, I just looked. 72. I was trying to remember and I forgot. Episode 72. Show notes are that way. That's why we are looking over there. We'd like to say a big welcome back to all of our returning viewers. We love you. And a big hello to any new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. Hope you enjoy the show. We have a special hello today to... Do you want to say who it is? I think it's Das Boots.
Das Boots, who is Cheryl from Wisconsin.
Because Cheryl introduced herself in the group on the Introduce Yourself thread. So if you have not joined the group, well, why not? Go do it right now. We'll wait. Did you do it? Okay. And if you haven't introduced yourself, even if you joined the group a whole long time ago, if you never introduce yourself on the introduction thread, and we'll say hello to you on the next podcast. We have quite a bit to talk about, and we have a prize drawing. Because we have over 300 members. Because y'all came out of the woodwork last week after we were so disappointed that we only had 299. So, we will do that at the end of the podcast. We have details about Team Geeky Girls Knit for the Ravelinics. And we have all kinds of other stuff. So, we probably should get started. Here we go.
And now we're going to talk about what's on our needles.
So what's on your needles, Mare?
Socks. They curl. Not the sport.
I never understood that sport.
I played it on the Wii.
I'm not any good. So, tell us about these socks.
These are Hermione's everyday socks, but I'm doing them toe up.
And yarn?
Yarn is Spunky Eclectic Superwash Wool
Nylon.
Merino?
No, woolen nylon.
Woolen nylon.
In the fingering weight sock.
Yes, in the poison colorway. It's a big mouthful.
Yes. And what size needle are you on?
US 1.5, which are 2.5 millimeters.
And you had a needle catastrophe this week. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. I was using wooden needles, and then they broke.
So, why did we have the wooden needles?
To take on the plane when we came to Scotland.
In case they got taken away, so we wouldn't be out a lot of money. But I was using our other set of US 1.5s, and then they broke. And thankfully, they broke during knit night, and so we called our local yarn shop owner who was on her way to knit night, and she brought a new pair. So what do you think of the needles?
They're pointy.
I know, I want to steal them from you and give you the ones I'm using.
They're pointy.
Because I've been wanting to try those. They're, Hiya Sharps?
Yes, they're pointy.
Maybe we'll switch. I'll give you the less pointy ones. I think mine are Chow Goo. So, and what do you...
How can we switch?
Magic. What do you think about Hermione's everyday sock pattern?
I don't know. I've only done 4 rows of it.
Okay. What do you think of the yarn?
It's small.
Because you've been knitting with heavier weight.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else on the needles?
No.
You haven't started your spinning? And we have Guild this week. We got to get you started. Maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. I only have one thing active on the needles for the moment, plus my spinning. So I finished sock number 1. So I have a hoe of my Valentine's Day socks. These are this is the True Love sock pattern by Chrissy Gardner. I'm also on US 1.5, 2.5 mil, in Windy Happy in the Mars colorway. So this is actually not great because I can't really show you the hearts. They've got hold on. They've got hearts up the front And then on the back of the leg is a small cable pattern. So sock number 1 is done. I took it to Knit Night this week to show them because I had been working on it last week, and everybody commented on how soft the yarn is. It's so squishy soft. I think I want to wear it on my face. But I've started sock number 2. Oh, I've more than started sock number 2. I turned to the heel yesterday. So the foot is done, and I did the OMG heel on this sock as well. This is the first pair of socks that I've done the OMG heel. So I am ready to start on the leg, and I'm trying to remember how many repeats I did. Okay, so there's 3 there, and I started this one. So I need to finish the repeat I'm on and do 2 more repeats of the hearts before I do the cuff. And there's 20 rows in a repeat. So I'm working on that. And then my spinning, I'm still spinning the 35 grams of merino British Shetland bat from Hilltop Cloud. And I'm about halfway through the bat now. So I want to try to get this finished before the Ravelinics because I want to do a spinning project during the Ravelinics. So that's everything. So we probably should move on to the next segment. It could be like a magic wand. Huzzah! Here we go.
Now we're going to talk about her one finished project.
Yes, I finished a project this week.
Can you see it?
Any ideas what it might be? So I knit this fun little hat. This is the Take a Bow hat, but it's a play on words because it's got a bow. Take a bow hat by Therese Sharp. And this, I did this on US 8's 5mm needles in Robin Chunky in the silver colorway. This silver was left over from the Doctor Who baby sweater and the hat that I did for the hubs. So it's got a little bit of slouch to it, and then you do this little bow. And I actually did the bow different than what they called for. It wanted it in stockinette, and I did it in garter because I think it'll hold its shape better. And then they just wanted you to sew the bow into place, pulling the middle together to make it gather in the middle, and I didn't like that idea because I didn't think it would hold the shape very well. So I knit another little piece that I wrapped around it. So I have a fun little bow on my head and a hat. It's warm. That's all I finished this week. It's been a busy week with non-crafting related stuff. So, all right, so I guess we're ready to move on to the next segment. Now it's time for my favorite part of our show, Yummies. What are Yummies, Mare?
Yummies are our current favorite things, things we like, things that we want to talk to you about.
Yes. So, first thing, Doctor Who related, of course. You want to tell them about it? Or me? Okay. So, on the DoctorWho.tv website, we'll put a link in the show notes. There is this really cool infographic type thing that they've created, but it's interactive. And it is the Time Lord timelines. And if you run your mouse, they've got pictures of all the doctors. If you put your mouse over each one, it will show you on this timeline they've created all of the episodes and how they went through time. And there's also some details about like who traveled the farthest, who in one episode which had the most amount of travel. But it's just a really cool infographic about all the travels of the Doctor and his companions. So we'll put a link to that in the show note, but you should check it out. It's really pretty cool. We already mentioned that we got new needles from our local yarn shop, which is Ginger Twist Studio. But we also got yarn. So, what are we going to make?
The BFF cowl.
Yes, the BFF cowl from Knitty, I don't know when, that is Isolde Teague and Stephanie from Tiny Owl Knits. And you do it with a partner. and you each knit 2 pieces of the cowl in your color of yarn, and then you swap one of the pieces so that you and your swap buddy both have a piece in each other's colors. So I am going to use the leftover pink wool from my my Nanny Swimmo sweater. It's King Cole Bounty. And Damaris needed some wool to do her part, so what did you get?
Purple. That looks more blue.
Yeah, purple is so hard to... That's a little better.
It's like lavender.
Kind of a lavender lilac. And what kind of wool is this?
King Cole.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Merino blend 4-ply.
So you're going to hold yours double so that it's the same. We did a test in the yarn shop. We were all feeling it. We're like, is 2 strands of this equal to 1 strand of this? And they're really pretty close, so I think it'll be fine. But what is yours made out of?
Merino blend. No, superwash wool.
Oh, superwash wool, and mine is premium acrylic. So I'm not sure when we'll start this, but
That looks more purple.
it does. But I think they all look really good together. So that is going to be an upcoming project for the 2 of us. And then I also bought some other wool. This is from New Lanark Mills. And this is double knitting, 90% pure new wool and 10% silk. 50 grams, 120 meters, 132 yards in the dark granite colorway. That's pretty true. And I got 4 skeins of it. She was having a buy 3 get 1 free sale, and I'm going to make myself some convertible mitts. In Texas, where we came from, you had very, very little necessity for mittens. So I have a few pair of fingerless mitts, but on really cold days here in Edinburgh, those just don't do it. And so I bought a pair of convertible mitts from a local store because I was like, I need mitts now because my hands are freezing to death. And if my hands freeze to death, I can't knit. That's a problem. But I've only been wearing them since probably November, and they are falling apart already. So not great quality. So I'm going to knit myself a pair. So this will be an upcoming project. I've never knit with New Lanark wool before, so I'm excited to try it. So, whoa, we're kind of washed out funny.
I think it's fine.
There we go. I got a new t-shirt this week from Cordy. I'm wearing it. See? It says Malcolm and the Fireflies. It's from Firefly. And, oh, let me lean up a little bit. Okay, so it's got the ship on it. And then it says, You Can't Take the Sky From Me Tour, 2517 through 2518. And it's got a list over here of, like, the different places they went. I have to give big props to Cordy's customer service because the shirt did not arrive in the amount of time that they said it should have arrived in. So I contacted them, and they are sending me another shirt. And they said if the other one shows up in the meantime, just keep it as a gift. We're sorry that it didn't come when it should have. And so this just actually arrived this morning, and the other one is on the way. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. We'll see if it'll fit the hubs, maybe. If not, I may have an extra shirt if somebody is interested in it. Probably somebody in the UK, because it would be much cheaper to ship in the UK. So we'll see if it comes, and if so, I'll let you know. But I love my Firefly shirt. This is my second Firefly shirt. And funnily enough, that doesn't sound right. Funny enough, I wore the other one yesterday. And it's a Doctor Who shirt too, because it's got the TARDIS on it. So, Okay. Any other yummies before we jump into GGK Crafty Pad? No. Okay. GGK Crafty Pad's going on. Y'all are awesome. It's so hard to pick pictures every week of what are our favorites because y'all are taking amazing pictures. So it's never too late to join in. We are going to stop right here and put in the prompts list. Plus
2 photos of ours that we liked, 1 each, and 3 photos from other people that we liked.
Yes. And I've started making a little video of them and posting it on Instagram, and that's been fun. So I've already made the video, I just haven't posted it yet. So take your photos. Take your photos and post them, and maybe you'll be one of our favorites next week. So here they come. So those were our favorite photos of this week, and looking forward to seeing y'all's photos in the days ahead. And we already know what our prompts are going to be for February. I've just got to put the list together, so watch for that coming soon. Since we're already halfway through January, how did that happen? Anyway, okay, not much, nothing new in Scotland this week. Just our weekly knitting group on Monday nights. We had some new people this week, so that was kind of fun. We had a good time. And we have our Edinburgh Guild of Weavers, Spinners, and Dyers this Saturday, the 18th. So if you're in Edinburgh and will be there, we look forward to seeing you. All right, on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about what we're reading and watching.
So what are you reading?
I'm still reading Grounded by Heather Ordover.
And what do you think?
I like it.
Yeah, I told you you would. It's a good book. I can't wait for the next one to come out. Hopefully sometime this year. I am still reading Almost Amish, One Woman's Quest for a Slower, Simpler, More Sustainable Life by Leith. I'm a little over halfway through it, so it's pretty good. And then I've also been reading the Parasol Protectorate series by Gail Carriger. Oh my gosh, it's such a good series. I talked about it on, I think, Ravelry and Instagram this week, and maybe Facebook too, because one of our prompts this week was what you're reading. So I read all 3 books of the 3 first books of the series this week: Soulless, Changeless, and Heartless, and I'm reading the 4th book right now, Timeless. And it's really good. They're all really good. So I'm enjoying that. If you like steampunk fiction, you might like it. So, all right. What we're watching. We're still watching
Criminal Minds, Season 3.
Season 3. I think we have maybe 1 or 2 episodes left in Season 3, and then we'll be done with Season 3. So, the Hubs and I finished watching Season 1 of Leverage and are watching Season 2 now. Will Wheaton was in it the other day. Brent Spiner's been in it. Jonathan Frakes. There's lots of geeky people in it or having to do with it, so that's been fun. We are watching The West Wing Season 4. We're over halfway through Season 4, I think.
Yes.
Yes, I think so. So, all right. Do you want this over here so we can see kind of? Hold on, we're trying to get the show notes to where we can see them to talk about TV. Okay, let's try that. Okay.
We're watching Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 1.11, The Magical Place. So Michael Peterson, J. August Richards' character, is still alive.
Yes. But he's got the centipede thing on him.
Yes.
It's kind of scary.
And he lost his leg. And Coulson, which is spelled with a U,
Oh.
was dead for days.
There you go. Oops. Coulson. Coulson. There you go.
Was dead for days, not minutes or hours.
Yeah. There's some secret stuff going on with that.
And you wrote that.
I did. This guy's been accepted into the group. They like her.
This guy has an E.
Oh my goodness. I can't spell character names, apparently. And when's the next episode?
Oh, it was yesterday.
What?
1.12 seeds.
Yeah, so we'll watch that tonight. We're watching NCIS. Oh, there was a cliffhanger. I've been trying to avoid spoilers. Because it was a cliffhanger. Episode 11.12, Kill Chain. So Gibbs' ex-girlfriend from season 5 is back, and she is the actress that plays Moira Queen on CW's Arrow. And I love that Abby was the voice of reason to McGee about his relationship with Delilah. But then Delilah was hurt in the shooting explosion thing, and that's how they left it. She was in surgery. And so the new episode was on last night, 11.13 double back, so we will watch that tonight, because I can't keep avoiding spoilers, because it was like all over both of my main Twitter accounts, and I was like, scroll. We started watching a new show, Intelligence. We watched episode 1.1, the pilot, and episode 1.2, Red X. And it has... I can't think what the guy's name is. He played Sawyer...
Josh Holloway.
That's him. He played Sawyer on Lost.
He doesn't have long hair anymore.
No. The show kind of reminds me of a mix of like Chuck and Jake 2.0 mixed with like Covert Affairs Alias. Do you see that?
Sure.
So, Josh, his character has,
That's not his character's name.
No, but I'm saying Josh, his character, the character he plays, has, technology in him. But he's a secret agent guy. So, and there's lots of sci-fi people in it, including... I can't think of his real name, that played the Doctor on
John Billings.
Yes, he played
Knox.
Phlox
Phlox.
on Star Trek Enterprise. And then there's other people. The lady who plays Ruby, Red Riding Hood on Once Upon a Time is in it. And there's other ones too. We were like scrolling through the list. So a new episode is on next week, 1.3, Mei Chin returns, so that should be interesting. Person of Interest is back. Episode 3.12, Alethea, maybe? So John is apparently leaving for good, ? I bet he'll come back, but he says he can't be there. We learned a whole lot more about Harold's past, and there's another machine out there called Samaritan that wasn't destroyed as we thought it was. And Root is on her own again. She escaped from Harold. So, next episode was on last night. Episode 3.13, 4C. So we will watch that tonight. We're watching season 3 of New Girl. It's like all the TV came back this week. Revolution, episode 2.10, The Three Amigos. They're hunting for Monroe's son. And we find out that he's bad, just like Monroe. And Aaron left to go to Oklahoma, where the nano technology, how it, personified itself as the boy, told him that he was from this town in Oklahoma. And so he goes there and he finds Grace. That's kind of how it ended. But Charlie is also out looking for Erin with her grandfather. Next episode is actually tonight, 2.11. I hope I don't butcher this pronunciation. Mis dos Padres?
Mis Padres.
Is that My Two Dads?
Yeah, My Two Fathers.
My Two Fathers. There was a TV show when I was young called My Two Dads. That's what it made me think of. Okay, you want to talk about that one?
Sure. It's like 8.1. Lock, stocks, and smoking barrels in Burton Guster's Goblet of Fire.
They were in London.
Yes, and there was Carrie Elwes.
I think that's how you say it. Was reprising his character.
Mm-hmm. Pierre Despereaux.
Yes. There was a gazillion and one Harry Potter references.
Yes.
Because Gus kept wanting to leave to go to the Harry Potter convention and see Rupert.
Rupert Grint.
Yes, he's kind of obsessed with him. I want to know where Jules was. We saw Carlton for a little bit.
Yes.
But we never did see Jules in the episode. So, when's the next episode?
It was already on?
No, I forgot to change the date. It's on tonight.
It's on tonight.
And what's it called?
It's called S.H.I.E.L.D, but all of them have dots after them, so it's an acronym. The day.
So, alright, you want to talk about that one?
Okay. Elementary 2.13, All in the Family. Okay, so there was this mob stuff, and when she was a kid, Joan was interested in the mob, and then Marcus and Sherlock made up, so they're friends now, and Marcus is back in Major Crimes.
From outer space?
In Major Crimes.
Oh, I thought we were going to sing. And we don't know when the new episode is, or what it's called. Last I checked, it wasn't listed. So, it's on a little hiatus. So, the Hubs and I watched The Big Bang Theory. We're watching season 7. I can't think of anything that stood out. We started watching another new show. It's from the Sci-Fi channel. It's called Helix. I don't know if we're going to continue watching it. It was a 2-hour premiere. Well, I mean, after commercials, it was like, 1.5 hours or whatever. So we watched episode 1.1 pilot and 1.2 vector. And it's about like this, contagion virus that gets loose down in the Antarctic. And so the CDC team goes down there, and the head of the CDC team, his brother is infected, but it's like changing the people that it infects. It either kills them and like liquefies them, or it changes them into like these killers, and it was kind of, I don't know. So we will try another episode this Friday is when it's on, episode 1.3274, and see what we think, but it may get axed from the list because it was kind of, let's talk about these other things down here and then come back to it.
Things under it.
There's just 2 more. So, How I Met Your Mother was back on yesterday, and it was, Monday. Today's Wednesday. It was back on Monday. We watched it yesterday, and it was about the slap bet. Slap number 4. And then it was so insane because after... Hold on, I lost his name. Marshall, yes. After Marshall slapped Barney, then Boyz II Men came out and sang a song about him slapping him. In the forest. Under the willow tree.
What?
He told him that he was going to slap him under a willow tree with 4 women and a tiger. And there was 4 women holding up a picture of a tiger. And he slapped him. And there's still one more slap to come, apparently. We thought it was the last one, but apparently there's one more.
I'm not going to ask any questions. Okay. Let's just move on.
Damaris doesn't watch it with us, just the Hubs and I. Castle, yes.
6.12, deep cover. And Kate and Castle are trying to choose a date for the wedding. And then Castle's dad is back.
James Brolin.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so this episode was mainly about him.
Yes.
And technology, and whether they could believe that who he said he was. And Kate met him for the first time. And they decided to get married in September.
You got married in September.
I did get married in September. So did the Hubs.
Who knew?
So when's the next episode of Castle?
6.13 Limelight on the 20th.
So that's like next Monday. Okay, here comes the spoiler alert, Sherlock, because we're gonna like OMG on this one. Okay, so we're gonna talk about what?
Sherlock.
What episode?
3.3. His Last Vow.
And if they make us wait 2 years for another series, I might just lose it.
Happy hiatus. We joined during the Series 2 hiatus. The hiatus between Series 2 and Series 3. We started watching in September, I think, of 2012. So that was about 9 months after. Sometime in fall of 2012. Or summer. 2012.
Well, because I remember having watched episode 1 and 2 of Series 1, but not wanting to watch episode 3 because I wanted to wait until Series 2 was available on Netflix.
No, we went ahead and watched episode 3. We did. And then we had to wait a bit for it to come on Netflix. Then it came on Netflix sometime in fall of 2012.
Okay. Alright, so His Last Vow.
His Last Vow. Okay, just... Me, during this episode, my internal reaction was a lot of screaming and shrieking interspersed at loud sobs at the multiple canon references.
There were so many canon references, which was awesome. I loved that they did that.
Yes, on Sunday, I reread The Adventure of Charles Augustus Milverton and His Last Vow. Not the whole book, just the story. While making lunch. Helping make lunch.
Yeah.
Okay. So a line, which was based off a line from Charles Augustus Milverton. No, you can't come, you're pregnant. And Mary said, you can't go, I'm pregnant. The original line was, you are not coming, then you are not going.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Molly is very upset with Sherlock.
Very. She slapped him.
Yes, about 5 times. 4 or 5 times. And this character development, because in Series 1, she was just like this... She's just...
Very timid.
Very timid, and just like, okay. When she asked Sherlock if he wanted to have coffee, and then he says, yes, black, 2 sugars, please, and then leaves. Just like, okay. But here, she's very upset with him. Anyway, and she says, how dare you throw away the gifts you were born with, and how dare you betray the love of your friends? Say you're sorry.
There was such a cute picture of Benedict and, I'm so bad with names.
Louise. But everyone calls her Lou.
Like during the filming, there was a really cute picture.
And then Claire de la Lune.
Yes.
The perfume.
Perfume.
And then Mary! Okay, so, to give you a bit of
Okay. Try again.
Trying again. Okay. Sherlock goes into the room and he can't see this person. He just knows that it's someone wearing this Claire de la Lune perfume. And John said earlier that Mary wears it, but he's like, no, someone else wears it. And then he goes into the room and sees this person who has a gun at Magnuson, and Sherlock says, if you're going to commit murder, you might consider changing your perfume, Lady Smallwood, which was a client who came to Sherlock.
Who was played by
Lindsay Duncan, who was in Doctor Who and Merlin, but a lot of other things, but we know her from there.
From Doctor Who, she was the captain in...
Captain Adelaide Brooke in The Waters of Mars.
Did you know Adelaide... I think it's Adelaide Brooke is a character from Anne of Green Gables.
I didn't know that.
I think that's the name. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and then Magnuson says, sorry, who? That is not Lady Smallwood, Mr. Holmes. And then she turns around, and it's Mary!
Mary, what are you doing?
And she's just like, I'm sorry, Sherlock, truly I am. And then he starts to get closer to her, and she says, if you take one more step, Sherlock, I swear I will kill you. And then she does shoot him.
She shot him! And blood! And...
Okay, and then there was this exquisite Mind Palace scene, which lasted for about 7 minutes?
I don't know, OMG, it was like,
5 minutes.
OMG, it was like OMG, OMG.
Yeah, pretty much, and it had Molly and Anderson giving him medical, because he was kind of in shock, and so it had Molly and Anderson giving him medical advice. You need to fall backwards so that you don't die of blood loss before the ambulance comes.
Yes.
And then he sort of loses it when he goes into shock, and he finds Moriarty at the very depths of his mind palace. And he says his mind thing is a mind palace, but we can see the staircase that he uses to get around in there, and it's this sort of deteriorating staircase in an old house.
Yeah.
So.
I thought it was very interesting that Molly and Anderson and Moriarty and Mycroft were all in his mind palace, but John was not.
Well, I don't know. Well,
yeah.
Molly and Anderson were giving him medical advice, like telling him you need to fall backwards, and Mycroft was
he was like egging him on, trying to keep him. I mean,
yes.
He was doing it in a very negative way, but it was like almost like a brother, like how brothers do, how they kind of harass each other, trying to get them to do what they need to do.
And then he found Moriarty, who was just sort of mocking him, but helped him actually wake up when he said John Watson is definitely in danger.
Yes.
But what sort of help could John give?
I don't know, but...
Because he had Molly and Anderson for medical advice.
But I mean, everybody else was in there, so why wasn't John? Okay.
And then little Sherlock, who is played by Sue and Stephen's son, Lewis.
He was adorable.
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 And I cry a lot. And then Mycroft says, there must be something in this ridiculous memory palace of yours that can calm you down. Find it. And he finds Redbeard, which was mentioned in the previous episode, and he was Sherlock's dog.
And they had to put him down, and and Sherlock was saying, they're putting me down too.
Yes, and then cinematography, when Sherlock is falling backwards. Well, first of all, the soundtrack, it's the music that played when Sherlock fell off of St. Bart's. But then cinematography, you can see in the background there's a plant, and it tilts as the room tilts with Sherlock, and the set production designer said that the plant tilted, so you thought actually the room was tilting, not Sherlock. Cinematography.
It was amazing.
Okay. And then when Sherlock is finally, all right, John says to Mary, you, Mrs. Watson, are in big trouble. And she's like, why? And John says, his first word when he woke up? Mary.
Of course, because she shot him! But John doesn't know that. Not yet.
Not at this point in the episode. And then Janine, who, in the story of Charles Augustus Milverton,
Trying to move my foot because it's falling asleep.
Got engaged to Milverton's housemaid so he could get into Milverton's house. And Janine was Magnuson's PA, so Sherlock could get into his office.
She was in the last episode as Mary's friend.
Yes, the chief bridesmaid, I guess that's what they called her.
Maid of honor.
Yes. And Janine says, I'm buying a cottage. And Sherlock says, where's the cottage? And she says, Sussex Downs. There are beehives, but I'll get rid of those. And that's a reference to where Sherlock retires to, a cottage in Sussex Downs, where he keeps bees and writes a practical handbook on bee culture, including observations on segregation of the queen.
And so that also makes the connection with the U.S. Sherlock show, which is called Elementary, where he's raising bees on the roof of the building.
Yes. And then Sherlock goes out of hospital because he's crazy.
Yeah.
And he runs away. And he goes to Linster Gardens, which is a real place, and 23 and 24 are empty. They're made way for the tube. We should go visit them.
Yep, so they're just the facades of the houses.
And so Sherlock says, 23 and 24 Linster Gardens, the empty houses, which is a reference to the empty house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I omitted some stuff, and he says only the front section of the houses remain, just a facade. Remind you of anyone, Mary? A facade?
Yes, because she was trying to find him to threaten him not to tell John. But I think when John saw the bottle of perfume in the flat, I think he realized then.
I cry a lot.
So.
Also, the timeline of this episode makes no sense.
So
once John's found out and everything.
Yes, because Sherlock tricked Mary into telling John.
And Mary is a really good shot.
So she's apparently like a former spy turned assassin.
Yes.
And she took over the identity of a child who died. And so that's why she doesn't have any friends older than 5 years old.
Yes, and 5 years ago from 2014 would be 2009, which, while trying to figure out the timeline of Series 1, I figured out must be when Sherlock and John met and their adventures started.
I think so. Okay.
Sometime in June, I think. Or January. No, it's January. Okay. And then they all go back to 221B to talk and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And John says to Mary, sit. And she says, why? And John says, because that's where they sit. The people who come in there in here with their stories. The clients. That's what you are, Mary. You're a client. This is where you sit and talk, and we sit and listen, and we decide if we want you or not.
Made me cry.
Mm. And then once she sat down, she takes out a flash drive that has AGRA on it. And Sherlock says, what's that? And she says, my initials. And AGRA is a reference to the sign of the four. It's the story in which Mary Morstan is introduced. And one of the main points of the story is the Agra treasure. And then she says to John, if you love me, don't read it in front of me. And John says, why? And she says, because you won't love me when you've finished.
So she said that everything about her past was on this flash drive.
And then 6 months later, about, more or less, I don't know.
No, less.
Less.
Because when...
5 months.
No, less than that even. Because it had been a month since they had been married when John went hunting for the neighbor's son and found Sherlock in the drug house.
Well, no. Well, maybe it had been a month since they'd seen Sherlock, but I guess that could be.
I think it was a month since they got married, and then, but she was already pregnant when they got married.
Yeah.
And she was probably maybe 5 to 6 months pregnant at Christmas. So I would say at the most maybe 3 months, because they were celebrating that he had gotten out of the hospital again. Is what his mom said.
Yes.
So I don't think it had been more than maybe around 3 months. If that much. The timeline was messed up.
So confusing.
Because on the wedding invitation in the last episode, it said May, but on John Watson's blog that BBC does, it said August was when the wedding was. So there's some timeline discrepancy there.
You guys have problems.
Okay. Sorry, we are analyzing all the details.
Okay, and then at Christmas time, John and Mary are talking.
Finally.
Yes, and John says, the problems of your past are your business. The problems of your future are my privilege. That's all I have to say. That's all I need to know. No, I didn't read it. The flash drive. Mary says, and she's crying, you don't even know my name. And John says, is Mary Watson good enough for you? And she's like, yes, it's good enough for me. And John says, it's good enough for me too. And then they hug, and then I cry forever.
And then she's been drugged to fall asleep, and she falls asleep in his arms. And he threw the flash drive in the fire.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Mycroft and Sherlock are talking outside.
Yes.
And Mycroft says, Magnuson is not a dragon for you to slay. And Sherlock says, a dragon slayer. Is that what you think of me? And Mycroft says, no, it's what you think of yourself.
But it made me laugh because Benedict played Smaug the dragon just recently in The Hobbit.
Haha, no, I am the dragon.
I am the dragon, I'm not the dragon slayer, I'm the dragon!
But then they continue their conversation, and it's just like, Mycroft says, here, like in England, you have utility. And Sherlock says, what does that mean? And Mycroft says, here be dragons.
Yeah.
And then Magnuson, they're trying to get Magnuson to show Sherlock and John
The vaults
where he keeps all his information. And he shows them this white room with a chair in it. And he says, and Magnuson says, vaults? What vaults? There are no vaults beneath Appledore. The vaults are my mind palace.
This is somebody else with a mind palace.
Well, it's a pretty common memory technique that's been around for a while.
I know, but it's like he has a mind palace like Sherlock. And he goes downstairs to get to it, just like Sherlock.
And then things happen, and Magnuson inflicts John's face. This is a serious show, I swear.
And he flicks him in the face. It took an entire day to record the episode. To record that scene, according to behind the scenes stuff. And Martin had an agreement with, what's his name that played Charles?
Lars.
We had an agreement with Lars about where he was not allowed to flick him on the face.
This is a serious show, I swear.
Very serious.
And then things happen and stuff, and there are helicopters because Mycroft has found his laptop, which Sherlock was going to give to Magnuson, but not really, and I'll come back to that in a minute because I'm going to say something about it. And then Sherlock says to Magnuson, so the vaults never existed. And Magnuson says, no, they're only in my mind. He's like, and then he shoots him in the head.
Sherlock shoots Magnuson in the head and kills him.
Yeah. Okay, and coming back to the laptop, in his last bow, Sherlock, disguised as a guy who works for this guy, gives him a parcel which is supposed to contain information, but then the guy opens it and it's a practical handbook of bee culture that he wrote, and I was expecting Sherlock to give him the password to the laptop and...
Be something bee related?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Sherlock says once he shot Magnuson in the head, he says to John, give my love to Mary. Tell her she's safe now. And Mycroft's like, oh, Sherlock, what have you done? And we see little Sherlock in the position of Sherlock.
Yeah. And
then Mycroft says, while talking to a British government guy, you know I'm not prone to outbursts of brotherly compassion. You know what happened to the other one.
So is there another brother?
And it might be a reference to Sharonford Holmes, which is a non-canonical, hypothetical older brother of Mycroft and Sherlock.
Yeah.
Yes, and when asked if he could play any character in Sherlock who he would play, Stephen Moffat said the other one. So, if for some reason he does play the other one, we will have come full circle. He will be playing his son's brother.
Okay.
And then Sherlock has to go to Eastern Europe and do things. He's gonna fly away on a plane, so he's saying goodbye to the Watsons. And then he says to Mary, "You will look after him," meaning John, "for me, won't you?" And she says, "Don't worry, I'll keep him in trouble." And he says, "That's my girl." And then I typed that bit wrong. And then John and Sherlock are talking. And Sherlock says, "William Sherlock Scott Holmes." And John says, "What?" And he says, "That's the whole of it, if you're looking for baby names." And then John says, "Actually, we've done some scans and we're pretty sure it's a girl." And
so maybe her name will be Cheryl, which is what Janine called him.
Cheryl. And then the whole East Wind thing was a reference to his last vow, the last lines of it. And Sherlock says, "The East Wind takes us all in the end."
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "To the very best of times, John." And then
OMG.
Wait. Okay, so they shake hands, and Sherlock gets on the plane, and it flies away, and we see Mary John, and they're holding hands and looking at the plane as it flies away. And then the end title music starts to play, but then it goes fuzzy and fades, and it's S.H.I.E.L.D. and Molly, not all in the same place, but S.H.I.E.L.D. and Molly and Mrs. Hudson, they're doing things, and they have screens on
the telly on.
Mm-hmm. And
then we hear,
Did you
miss me? Did you miss me? Did you miss me?
And he's staying alive.
He's back.
It's Jim Moriarty. Hi. And Mary says to John, "So how can he be back?" And John says, "Well, if he is, he better wrap up warm. There's an east wind coming as the plane lands back again."
So how did Moriarty fake his death?
And the thing at the end of the credits, which all the reviewers said to look out for, was the clip that was shown on the TV. It was Moriarty turning towards the camera and saying, "Did you miss me?" No, actually, it was just "miss me." But
so, there's rumblings that they're going to get Series 4 recorded in time for Christmas 2014.
Or at least in January, because that's what they've been doing.
So, we shall see what happens. All right, we probably should move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about our December-January Winter Wonderland Cal.
So it's continuing. You have a little over 2 weeks to go before the end of the month. Any projects that you knit, crochet, weave, or spin that you can convince us is winter related, you can enter. We're up to 116 entries. We have 2 prizes: a Ravelry giftable pattern up to $7 donated by Linda M. Noble, and a knitting project bag from the Etsy shop of Lule, who is linked in the show notes. Do you want to say who finished projects this week?
Sure.
Right here.
Katie Did What, who is Katie. Selena Mom 23, who is Selena.
Mm-hmm.
Crafty Mama, who is Kylie. Evil Twin 2, who is Rebecca. Ellie Jellybean, who is Liz. Knit Nut 246, who is Connie. Borculo, who is Mary. Ryder Darling, who is Dory. Elle McCall, who is Linda.
Mm-hmm.
Saratoga Knitting, who is Lisa. And Sharona the Mom, who is Sharon.
So, great job, y'all. Keep posting those projects, and we will announce the winners the first episode in February.
And now we're going to talk about the Ravel Linux 2014 for Geeky Girls Knit.
Yes, our team is Team Geeky Girls Knit. We have just before the show, we started recording the show. We were up to 14 team members, not including you and I, so 16 team members. All the details are on the Ravelry board, and they will also be in the show notes, but we wanted to go over them with you quickly so you would know all the details. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on the Ravelry board. There's been several already, and I'm answering them fairly quickly, and it seems like if someone has a question, somebody else probably also had the question, so if you have questions, feel free to ask. And we talked about on the Ravelry board that there's been some stuff occur in the main Ravel Linux group. If you want more info on that, you can go to the group and read about it, but new moderators should be in place. The voting ends tonight, so hopefully by tomorrow, and we should hopefully have an official events list in the next day or two. There's been one proposed and submitted for those new moderators to approve. So we have quite a few prizes to give away for the Ravelinics. Some of them are right here behind me. We're not going to show them all to you, but project bags, buttons, patterns, lots of things. So let's go through how you can earn entries into the prize drawings. You will automatically get one entry for being a member of Team Geeky Girls Knit. So the way that you do that is just by posting on the Ravelry board on that thread saying, I want to join. And that automatically gives you one entry into the prize drawings. During the time of the Ravelinics, which they start on February the 7th and end on February the 23rd, we will be having a chatter thread. And you will earn one entry per day for a total of 17 possible entries for posting in the chatter thread. So you'll only get one entry per day, but that's not saying you can only post once per day. But if you post at least once each day, you'll get one entry each day. So up to 17 entries for posting in the chatter thread. For finishing a project for our team, you will get 5 entries. And there will be an FO thread. And we will post how you would need to post it in the FO thread, because you will also earn 2 entries per medal for the finished project. So say, for example, I did a pair of socks and finished those. I would earn 5 entries. I mean, Damaris and I will not actually earn entries, but if I was a participant, say. I would earn 5 entries for finishing the socks. I would earn 2 entries for medaling in the sock event. And then say they had a lace pattern, I would earn 2 entries for that medal. Say they used an entire skein of yarn, I would earn 2 entries for that medal. Say that it was from my stash, I would earn 2 entries for that medal. So we'll have a format that you'll need to follow when you post in the FO thread so that we know what medals you earned, so that we can make sure you get entries for each medal. And those entries for the project and medals are for each project you finish for our team. So if you do a pair of socks and a hat and a pair of gloves for our team, you'll earn for the project and the medals for each project. And then at the end of the games, we will give 8 entries to the member of our team who has completed the most projects for our team. We will give 8 entries to the member of our team who has earned the most medals for our team. And we will give 8 entries to the member of our team who has completed the most events unique. So each event will count only once per person, no matter how many projects you finished for that event. For the medals part, if you do 5 hats, that will count 5 times towards the number of medals. But for the events, the hat category will only count once, the socks category would only count once, the lace category would only count once. So we will be checking that to see who does the most projects, who gets the most medals, and who has the most unique events. And then here are the rules for the team. Some of them are normal rules, but some of them are special for this. Only 1 prize will be awarded per participant. So if we do the random number generator and you win a prize, and then we do the number generator again and you get chosen for another prize, we will redraw, because we're going to do 1 prize per person. For every 50 entries, we'll add another prize to the prize pool, up to the total number of prizes we have available or the total number of members. So we have 14 members right now. So we would either do up to 14 prizes because we have 14 members, or up to how many, 1 prize per 50 entries. So, and speaking of the prizes, many of them have to be posted in the mail. So if you are interested in donating to help with the postage, because especially if we have people, I know we have people international from us. So if you're interested in helping with the postage for sending out prizes, there's a donate button on our website. You have to declare yourself a member of our team to participate. You have to be a member of our Ravelry group to participate. Unless the Ravelinic Games rules state otherwise, projects cannot be begun before Friday the 7th of February during the opening ceremonies, and the exact time of that will be coming soon because we don't know actually what the exact time is going to be yet, but that'll be posted soon and we'll share that. And you have to complete them by 23:59 Moscow time on Sunday the 23rd of February. You have to post a picture of your FO along with the information about the medals you earn in the FO thread on our group. And I'm keeping a spreadsheet so that, and we'll make that to where y'all can see it as well, so that we know how many entries each person has, and then we'll just do a running list of them and say, you know, number 1 is Java Pearl, number 2 is Damaris a bit weird, number 3 is da-da-da, and that way when we do the random number generator, we'll know what person is assigned to what entry number. You have to follow the Ravelinic Games rules for whatever event you're entering in. So if you're doing a work in progress, you have to follow whatever rules they have set up for that project category. Feel free to double dip into other groups' CALs if it fits the rules. But per the Ravelinic Games group rules, each project you do can only work for one team. So you could do a sock project for our team and a hat project for another team. Or you can do a sock project for our team and a different sock project for another team, but you can't count the socks you finish for Team Geeky Girls Knit for another team as well. As normal, you'll have 30 days to claim your prize after we announce them on the podcast. So that's a rundown of the rules and how to earn entries. As we said, if you have questions, post them in the group and we will do our best to answer them or find the answer for you. And we're looking forward to the Ravelinics and we're already talking about in the group what people are doing. So please come join us. We'd love to have you.
Now it's time for Ask the Geeky Girls.
So what's our question this week?
Maggie T.N., who is Florence from Tennessee, asked, how hard has it been to adjust to live in Scotland? Language, meaning of words, food.
We touched on this a little bit a few weeks ago with one of the questions we had, but it hasn't been super hard to adjust, in my opinion at least. We knew some people already from Scotland and the UK. We watched or listened to podcasts by other UKers, did some VKNs with other UKers, and so that helped with some of the language, accent, words things. We were able to ask some questions, or if somebody would say something, we would go, hold on, we don't know what that means, help. So that's helped. Food, we've tried some foods. There's been some that we have not tried. Haggis, we have not tried haggis. I think in regards to food, the hardest thing has been stuff that's not available here.
And stuff that's not gluten-free.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to eat gluten-free, and stuff that in the States was gluten-free is not necessarily gluten-free over here, and so that's been kind of an adjustment. Mm-hmm. What else do you think? How hard has it been to adjust?
It's a bit colder here than in Texas.
Yeah, the weather. That's been the other thing.
Just a bit.
Just a smidge. So we've learned to layer. Not having a clothes dryer, because our washer/dryer that's in our flat really does not dry clothes. So we have had to invest in some drying racks and also hanging clothes on the radiators. That's been another adjustment too, having radiators instead of central heat.
You can go up to them and touch them and they're nice and warm.
Oh, yes. Yes. We love online grocery shopping and that they'll deliver the groceries to our flat. That's brilliant. And you don't really find that much in the States. So that's been brilliant, especially since we have no car. So that's been another adjustment, that we rely on public transit, which thankfully we do have a bus stop like almost right outside our front door. So that's really helpful. Anything else you can think of?
Nope.
So, that's our answer, Florence. We do love it here and hope to maybe stay in the UK after the Hubs finishes his degree. We'll see. It'll depend on where he can find a teaching job, because that's what he's wanting to do. So, thanks for the question. If you have a question for us, there is a thread on our Ravelry group called Ask the Geeky Girls, and post it there, and we will get to your question eventually. We're just kind of we're going through in order and just answering another person's question each week. So, we'll be back with Ask the Geeky Girls again next week. On to the next segment.
And now it's time for our 300 member prize giveaway.
Yes.
Actually, it's time for our 314 member prize giveaway.
Yes, because we had 15 new people join since last week after we said, we only have 299, we can't draw for 300 prize member. So we are going to do a prize drawing. I don't know if you can, there we go. So I've got 1 through 314 there. Damaris is going to generate.
If it's us, we'll draw again.
Yeah. Okay, so it's number 301.
So that's on the very last page.
Yes, it should be. So, no, but it's going to be on page 13 because there's only 2 on the last page. So there's 24 per page. Hold on, we got to figure out how to get to this. So, what's 12 times 24? That's 288, and we're trying to get to 301. So that's 288, 289, 290, 291, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 300, 301. The prize winner, the lucky winner is WEFFA, W-E-F-F-A. This is Stephanie from Massachusetts. So WEFFA, Stephanie, if you will send me a PM, and your prize is your choice of any of my paid-for patterns on Ravelry. So I think there's about 5 of them that are paid for that you can choose from. You have 30 days from today to claim your prize, so just send me a PM saying you've watched this and which of my patterns you would like, and I will gift that to you. And with that, we are to the end of the show. This one has been a little longer, so sorry. It's because of Sherlock.
It was the end of Series 3.
It was. So, we will stop with that. Why don't you tell them where to find us online?
You can find us at geekygirlsknit.blogspot.com. There are links to everywhere else we are online, which is pretty much everywhere else online.
Yes.
YouTube, iTunes, Blip, Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
Alrighty.
Actually, it's etc. Etc., not etc.
Okay. Alrighty, so we are going to say goodbye, and we will talk to y'all next week. Happy knitting, stay warm. Love you guys. Bye.